Guys, there is a lot of contradictory advice being thrown around out there by a whole host of different Etsy gurus. And there is also a lot of people like you that have been listening to this advice, and maybe you're a month down the line, 2 months down the line, and you're still not making any level of decent sales on Etsy. And I will say this like I do in so many of my videos, Etsy is an algorithm. And if you are not making at least $2,000 per month on Etsy, then it is likely that some of the advice you have been listening to is wrong and is not working. So in this video, I'm going to break down what some of this bad advice is, which I have seen destroy shops firsthand. And I'm also going to tell you what to do instead with proven strategies that I have seen work, both on my own shops to help me make over $250,000 on Etsy over the last few years. So I know that everything I'm about to say is backed up by proof, and I know it works. And let's get into the first point. And this is you being told to just list as many products as possible. So look, you're always getting told to just get the listings out there and just make as many listings as you possibly can on your shop. But honestly, guys, the main thing that this overlooks is that 500 rubbish listings will still not sell. It is not about just throwing a load of rubbish out there at the wall and seeing what sticks. What you should be doing instead, guys, is really focusing your time on getting the template of how you do your products right, and just really focus on making a high quality product first that you can then replicate and get the quantity out over time. So this is one thing. There is no doubt that if you look at a lot of the big shops on Etsy that have made a ton of sales, they usually have a ton of listings. But the ton of listings they have is high quality listings. It is not junk. If you fill your shop up with a ton of junk listings, that is going to impact you so negatively because they may get more clicks. They may bring more traffic to your shop, but this is going to go against what you want, because if you got way more traffic in your shop, but hardly any of that traffic is actually buying, this is going to give you a really bad conversion rate, okay? Conversion rate is one of the main metrics Etsy look at when it comes to the positioning and the ranking and the quality factor they assign to your shop. And so you are going to be much better off, especially at the beginning, having less listings, but higher quality and having that good conversion rate versus having a ton of listings and having a really poor conversion rate. And this is something I'll show you firsthand, guys, why it's so important. So you can see here, the conversion rate of my shop over the last 30 days, 6.9% on average, okay? And the sales have come with it. Conversion rate is so important. You have to focus on getting that as high as possible. In turn, Etsy will reward you in searches. Second piece of rubbish advice now, guys, and this is to just copy bestsellers. You do not want to do this because then you will be in direct competition against the best sellers who already much likely have more sales, more reviews, and a much more higher social proof and scoring with Etsy than what you do. So what you want to do instead is take concepts and take aspects from different best-selling products on Etsy, use some of those concepts within your own designs, but please do not just directly copy bestsellers. That will not work for you. And moving swiftly on to the next bit of bad advice now, guys, and this is people say branding just doesn't matter on Etsy. And I will tell you this for a fact, guys. Before I even started on Etsy, right, I spent a lot of money doing courses on marketing and branding. And buyer psychology is massive when it comes to people actually buying products on Etsy or anywhere online. And branding is so important. If you do not have any level of branding on your shop, okay, people will not trust your shop. It will look like a big jumble sale. There will be no cohesive messaging, no cohesive vibe, no cohesive look to your shop. And this is just going to lead in the customer not trusting your business because it looks unprofessional. And it's also going to massive damage your overall shop's marketing strategy, okay? Because if you are selling to everybody, you are selling to nobody. And so say I'm someone who absolutely loves fantasy products, right? Well, I'm going to be a certain sort of character, okay? And if I go on a shop because I've seen one fantasy t-shirt that I really like the look of, for example, and I go on their shop and then their branding is all, I don't know, something just completely different to what I would expect to see, and the fantasy t-shirt that I actually wanted just looks completely random on there and out of place, I'm way less likely going to buy from that shop because I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? You know, it just looks way less professional. And like I said, guys, I've done the courses on branding, so I know how important things like the fonts are, the color choices, the color palettes, the messaging, how you do your marketing overall I know what effect that has on conversion rates, which again, I'll go back to it from the first point, is so important. And now, guys, if you've ever been struggling with branding your shop and you just don't know where to start, then I do have a full course on this within my Etsy Accelerator community, along with well over 20 plus hours of other step-by-step, very in-depth training, as well as getting 2 extra modules posted every single month for you. That is just going to help to massively take all of the guesswork out of what you're doing. It's a proven strategy. I know it works, not just with myself, but also with other members of the community. And guys, now is the absolute best time to join, because the pre-release discount price that it's at is ending very soon on the 19th of this month, October, and it will never be that cheap again. So if you wanted to lock your spot in, guys, and get involved, you'll get that discounted price for lifetime if you sign in now. Then, as always, there's going to be a link in the video description if you wanted to check it out and take the guesswork out of what you're doing. But now let's move on to the next bit of bad advice that you've probably heard out there. And this is that free shipping always equals more sales. And now I'm going to call myself out on this one as well, guys, right? Because this is something which I have said in some of my earlier YouTube videos from a few years ago. And while I am not saying that this is strictly untrue, I'm saying this varies massively depending on what sort of product you're selling. So from my experience, guys, that I've seen firsthand, free shipping does, of course, help conversion rates, because it just removes that last barrier between somebody adding something to their cart and then pressing purchase, okay? Because there's no surprises on expensive shipping. However, when you are selling very saturated products, such as anything print on demand, okay, it does not make sense to charge free shipping, because then you would have to have a much higher product price, which in comparison to all of the competition you're competing against is going to make customers less likely to even click on your products in the first place. So I will admit that while it is very good for higher ticket products where there is a lot less competition, it can be very bad for lower ticket products like print on demand products where there is a lot more competition. Instead, guys, what I recommend to do is use a low product cost, high shipping method. Now, in the USA, put your shipping still under $6, okay? You always want to be under $6, but by charging more for shipping, you can then charge less for your product price. Again, if you're in the UK, I charge £4.50 for shipping on my mugs, which allows me to then list the mugs at a lot lower product price, which again, just entices a lot more customers in. And for me, I can say firsthand experience, it's working very well. Now moving on to the next bit of bad advice you've definitely heard before, guys, and this is that Etsy ads are gonna fix your low sales, okay? That could not be further from the truth, okay? I get to see a lot of shops firsthand. I get to see a lot of people come to me, and one of the biggest things that so many people struggle with, I'd say probably 90% of shops struggle with, is Etsy ads. And I would confidently say 90% of Etsy shops are not making money. In fact, they're probably losing money on advertising. And so just running ads for the sake of running ads, that is not going to work for you guys, okay? Also, do not just advertise all of your listings, okay? Maybe that is okay in the very, very, very early days of your shop when you've got a very low budget and you just want to get some idea of what sorts of products get clicks and traffic, okay? And you want to expedite that process. However, if you're actually looking to use ads to make you money, then it's very simple, guys. Just advertise your best selling listings, so your best performing listings, then also advertise any other listings which have a high favorites to visits ratio, okay? So this shows that there's a good level of buyer intent for those specific listings, thus giving them a higher potential to convert. And so thereof the lesson, guys, okay? Etsy ads, when you are paying for clicks, you only want to be driving traffic to listings that have the highest probability of selling and making conversions, right? So yeah, that's why it's very important. Do not just advertise for the sake of it. Be strategic about it. And moving on to the next bit of bad advice now, guys, and this is that Etsy traffic on its own is enough to make you a full-time income. And now, while I'm not saying that is strictly impossible, I'm saying it's going to be very challenging, okay? And so I just want to say, I'll put it out there, guys, a lot of the big Etsy shops you see, okay, they are getting a lot of traffic coming into the platform from external sources as well. I love to use Pinterest for external marketing, and I've made over 6,000 clicks to my Etsy shop over the years just through Pinterest marketing. So it is a very powerful tool. And now what I will say is external marketing, I don't necessarily want you to start focusing on this even within your first few months of business, okay? Don't worry about external marketing until you are making daily sales already on Etsy. You need very strong proof that your product is good and your designs are good and your shop is set up for conversions before you start investing your time in driving more traffic to the shop. Because again, like I said in the first point, more traffic but less sales can actually hurt your conversion rates a lot, and you don't want that, okay? You want more traffic with the highest chance that that traffic is actually gonna buy. And so, yeah, external marketing, it is gonna be something that is necessary for you, but in the longer term, to really start to scale to those full-time income levels. And guys, honestly, I'll just say, if you are so tired of hearing loads of different opinions out there, okay, loads of different bits of conflicting advice, and you just want a strategy to follow that breaks everything down for you, step by step, takes the guesswork out of what you're doing, okay, and is actually proven to get results on Etsy time and time again, then honestly, guys, I can't recommend it enough. The Etsy Accelerator community, I really would say check it out. It's a great place to start. Like I said, over 20 plus hours of step-by-step training in there. You're also going to get one-to-one DM access directly with me from day one when you join. And there's members in there, just like Craig, who went from not very impressive sales figures to over 5 figures per month on Etsy. And so if you are serious about getting proper results, then like I said, now is the best time to join, because in just 1 week's time, the price is going to be going up, and it's going to continue to go up as new resources, training, features, and support is going to be continuously added to the community. So yeah, just want to give you every chance to get in there before the price goes up too much. Otherwise, guys, if you just want some free content on YouTube, then feel free to check out this video here. I think you should get some great use out of it. Otherwise, take care, guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one.